second. So what's your issue with it? Mohammed, really, honestly, what's your issue with it?
It's disgusting.
Why is it disgusting?
It's against the human nature.
No, it's not. We're getting into nature.
I believe it's against.
No, it's not, because it's natural in many species, even other than humans.
But we're not animals. We're humans, so we're different.
But it's not against nature. Your
argument was that it's against the human nature.
It's not against nature.
Believe me, if it was like a normal thing to do, the human body would evolve through the years, and men can repopulate without women. But because it's not the nature, they can't.
No, because it's... One second. No, because... Oh, my goodness. Wow,
you're not going to convince me. Just say the subject, believe me.
No, I know I'm not going to convince you, but this is something that really does bother me, and I think, at least on here, I don't want any homophobia on here, because, hello, I'm queer. And second of all, even if I wasn't queer, that is so disrespectful and disgusting. D-Ragon, if you want to come up and talk to you, somebody else could drop down. So I'm
gonna drop down and listen, and I just wanted to tell you that I love you guys. Thanks so much for a great live, and I'll be down below listening. Likewise, have a good night, all.
Thanks. But yeah, sorry, like I don't let hate for anything else on here. Like, why would I let that hate? And when like somebody is saying hateful stuff, I always try to talk to them, and then I don't usually bring them back. But like, I'm not going to tolerate the hate anymore. Honestly, though.
Is this in Islam? Is this goes against both groups, or is it just against guys?
Both.
Because in Judaism, it doesn't mention women at all.
No, in Islam, it goes with both.
They're gone.
Hey, just really quickly, I wanted to ask, who's the person who's homophobic?
Me.
Mohammed.
Okay. Mohammed,
the Palestinian occupier.
That's wonderful.
How could I occupy someone when I don't have an army?
Cool story. So I just want to ask you some questions just so we understand where this idea comes from. You're saying it's not natural. Where are you getting your source for understanding that homosexuality is not natural?
Man, look, if it's natural, not natural, I don't give a shit. I don't accept it.
Okay. Where are you getting your source of understanding?
I don't need a source. I hate it anyway.
Okay, so from what I'm picking up from what you're saying,
your voice is maybe...
you suddenly went really far away.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry. Just because of like the way you're responding.
Oh, you went like, can you hear me now? And then it went down.
Okay.
I don't know if you're switching tabs or something like that, but we weren't able to hear you.
No, it's my earbuds. It's tripping out.
Yeah, it's very hard to hear you.
Take them out. It would be better.
Yeah, I took it out. So from the way you're responding, my basic understanding, like on a very primitive level of the way people will respond this way, is because they have not interacted with people who are different than them, and therefore they're scared. This is the basic.
You could say, I saw some people of that specific group.
Right, I mean, seeing or hearing from other people is not really the same.
Yeah, and not just saw them.
One second, Mohammed, why don't you have an issue talking with me? I'm of that specific group.
I don't give a
Why don't you have an issue with me personally?
Because you're not affecting my society.
How are other gay people or queer people affecting your society?
No, if they don't live here, no problem. Just do whatever you want.
Oh, goodness. But you started off by saying you hate them all. So...
Yeah, I'll still hate them, but, I don't give a shit.
So why don't you hate me? Do you hate me? Why are you even on here?
You didn't say you're,
I'm queer.
Look, I hate
slept with multiple women.
I don't hate them as humans. I hate the thing they're doing.
No, but that's a part of me.
I hate this
So, so you hate that part of me.
I don't
You
like
hate,
it, not just say not hate it, because not to make it personal.
but that's a part of my identity. So why do you
Yeah,
hate? Why
I
do you
don't
hate it?
accept this part. I'm sorry, but you're free
But
to do whatever
it's
you
a
want,
huge
right?
part of who I am. So why do you hate it?
Look, I don't need to give a reason. I just hate it.
I would really like a reason because this is. So let me be straight up. Let's compare it to the religion aspect of it. You have said that, let's say, you disagree with the whole.
Yeah,
Like
not
if
just
you're
religion, but religion is a big part of it. Yes.
no, but let's switch it. Okay, let's say I wasn't queer. Let's say we're talking about religion, and your child married someone who wasn't Muslim. Let's say your daughter married a Christian. How would that be any different than your daughter marrying a woman? Why would that be different to you?
Yeah, a big difference.
Why?
Because if my daughter wanted to marry a non-Muslim guy, I would, I can talk her out of this subject. And to make it more clear for you, Cafe, societies here does not work like you think. We are a modest
can I try to
society.
bring
But for me, I'm a modest guy. So if
can
I
I
want
can
to
I try to
raise
bring
my
the
children,
conversation back?
I will raise them in a
Durgam,
way.
you can, because I'm getting triggered. I'm trying to calm
Right.
myself
So
to so you can
let me
go, and then yeah,
just give me a few minutes. Let's just try to dissect a few things because
yeah,
I
go
feel
ahead.
like a lot of the issues people have with things that they don't understand is the fact that they don't understand these things. Um, the biggest point that we have to understand with something like this is a preference that a person has, and because of the universe being determined, we don't actually get to pick our preferences. These are not choices that we uh, consciously make. They're not choices at all. And because one way we can actually show this to be true, because if it was a choice, all of the people who get ridiculed, get ostracized, get excommunicated by family or by community for being not of the cis gender or sex or whatever we want to call it right now.
Yeah.
Because
Look,
these are not choices and we don't actually control these things.
Duragon, can I give you an honest answer?
No, let him finish talking.
He's trying to make it like a debate or something when it's.
No, it's going to be a debate because Mohammed,
I'm
I'm
not
going to be
debating
straight.
this thing.
I'm going
I
to be
told you
straight
that.
up with you. I don't feel comfortable if you keep coming on here without us getting this out in the open and without us talking this through, because that's a huge part of my identity. And the fact that you're so against and use the word hate multiple times about homosexual people, I don't feel comfortable. So unless we talk this out and we can get somewhere, I don't feel comfortable with you being on this platform anymore. So I do want to fully talk it out and not shut it down like we have the other times.
Tex, give me 1 minute because I'm really trying to get the point across of like to show that this is not a choice that people make. And if you could actually take a moment and try to place yourself in a circumstance where you didn't get to pick who you are, this automatically creates a bias by other people to hate you on something that you have no control over is problematic. That's the point I'm trying to show you. So if we do understand this, that we don't actually get to pick our preferences, which we don't, the fact that there could have been a possibility where you were not a straight person, and you would have had to deal with this on your own, would show that, you know what, it's no one's place to actually come up and judge you or hate you on something that you didn't actually get to choose or control.
So,
Can I
Mohammed,
interject because as a Muslim, I may be able to understand him a little better. So, do you mind
yeah, of
if I take?
course.
Yeah.
I made my point. Go
Okay.
ahead,
So,
please.
Mohammed.
And then
So Mohammed, obviously, you and I agree that homosexual sex is a sin, right? But that doesn't mean it entails hate. For example, alcohol is the same thing. Do you hate everybody who drinks?
No.
Okay, so why is it different in that case?
Yeah, look. Because it's not just religious. I told you, I'm a man, I like my culture, I love my society and my community. And I really respect my nationality. You could say that I'm a nationalist, you could say that. So when anything is against my society, and there's the Western countries who have the power at the moment, trying to push it down our throats and make it, trying to change our culture, trying to change our law, to accept stuff that we don't want to. That's why when the hate started.
Okay, so
your
problem is more political.
Yes.
Your problem is political.
Yeah.
Okay. But by the way, here in the West, there's a lot of people who have the same problem with that, but that doesn't mean they hate a group of people because of that. Because, like Darragan said, I agree. I think there's nothing anybody can do about their sexual preference.
I agree with that.
You can't do anything about that. I think the point I'm trying to make to you is, we know as Muslims, everybody sins, right? That doesn't mean we should hate people or hate parts of them or hate holes of them. We just say, it is what it is. We just move on. We don't have to hate anybody. We can treat everybody with respect. That's where I'm coming at it from. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get your point.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I told you, they're trying to push it on us, to change our laws, to change our culture, to change our religion. So we accept it because they have the higher power on us. And actually they threatened the Palestinian government, the PA, that they will stop the funding they give us if we don't change the law. So when you do that to a poor country and a poor society and occupied and oppressed people like us, and you took advantage of the money.
Is it the average Joe? Is it the average Joe who just happens to be a gay man that's doing this to you? It's not them.
And again, why do you see giving people more freedoms as a problem? Like, I don't understand why.
It is a problem.
Why?
It's not about freedom. It's not accepted in our society. We're not going to change for you guys. Just accept that.
What?
Dang. We're not going to change for nobody.
How does it affect you, just giving people more freedoms? How does that affect you?
Because the majority, it does affect me. Because the majority of our society is Muslim. First of all, it's against the religion. First of all, second of all, it's against the society. Even Christian and Christian Muslims and atheist Muslims here, atheist Palestinians. I mean, atheist Palestinians. My mistake.
I feel like that argument was used a lot by white supremacists, saying, they're trying to change our laws, like whatever. They're pushing it onto us.
They are really trying to change it.
Us. So
let me give you an idea to like just think about, because I feel like this can potentially help you in other areas also. If you are raised to think a certain way, and let's use a horrible example like being taught that beating your children is the right thing to do, as far as like discipline. If you are taught to think this way is correct, and you do that your entire life, and then people come around and tell you, hey, you know what, like, we're going to start changing things because this is not actually beneficial for humanity, because we're able to see the trauma that this creates in people's lives and how generational trauma can actually be passed down because it's a top behavior. Do you see the problem with saying that, like, well, it's always been that way, so we shouldn't change it because that's what we've always
we're not going to change. Man, look. Stop it.
I don't think you... Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, I heard what you're saying. Okay. You're saying that even we should change if the thing is good, right? Basically, that's what you mean.
I'm saying we should change if something is problematic.
Yeah, and we don't believe that this thing, we don't like it, we don't want it in our society, and we're not going to change.
So you think that hating people and ostracizing them and excommunicating them...
It's not about hate. It's about accepting and making it legal. No, not a chance.
So we should definitely make it illegal for people to be who they are.
Yeah, it's illegal anyway. Here,
what
like
is
in
the
Palestine,
punishment?
yeah, in Palestine there is nothing with or against them because of the outside pushing on us. They didn't do anything with it or against it. Just they just tried to stay in the middle. But even if the government made it legal, the society won't accept it.
And so why is it illegal?
There's people in Palestine who unalive their children and their brothers because of this thing.
And that's totally cool by you, because like it's better to get along with murderers than people who are gay.
Yeah, actually, I would be happy.
Oh, you're happy to.
I will deal with a criminal and not dealing with with shit.
Oh, okay.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this because I feel like I really want to know. It's just really itching under my skin. If you had kids and your kids came out to you one day and told you, they're like, hey, you know what? I've been trying to be straight, but I just can't do it. Like I have absolutely no. I'm repulsed by like the opposite sex. I'm just attracted to my own. What would your response be?
This is your own child. So basically, so straight and simple. Yeah, I'm gonna give him you have 3 choices. First choice, you keep it in your head and you shut up. Okay? You keep it in your head and you shut up. Don't talk with it to anyone. Don't express your feeling to anyone. Keep your feeling in your stomach. Don't talk to anyone about it. Just shut up. You don't want to get married? Fine. Just shut up. That's it. Second, if he wanted to push it, I will disown him. Yeah. He will be disowned. Third option.
And you feel very comfortable and confident in saying.
Just let him finish.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
Yeah. Third option.
Continue, Mohammed.
And that's a good one. I'll try to exile him out of the country.
Do you think if this was your circumstance, you would want your parents to be like this with you?
I will never be in this situation.
That's not what I asked you. I asked you if this was your circumstance.
It will never be. It's impossible.
I understand.
Mohammed, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go.
Okay. So if I have a child who is part of the LGBTQIA plus community, do you hate my child and want them dead?
No. Not dead. Not this extreme, of course. Yeah, but I would not prefer to be.
So again, though,
around.
Mohammed, you said you are more comfortable hanging out with an unaliver than someone who's gay.
I did it. It's not just a feeling. I did it in my real life. Actually, when I used to be
you're comfortable with it.
In my early 20s, like when I used to be.
You've unalived people?
Yeah, no. I did it in my life, but not to like it. It's a long story. I'll tell it to you later.
You did what? Like homosexual behavior or unaliving people?
No, unaliving. I did it once. It's a long story. I'll tell it to you later. When I used to be like 20, I guess, it's like the second year of college, I met a guy in the college. He was so good. We were like close to be best friends. He visited me in my house. I did go to his house. We had we spent a lot of time together. And after a while, he traveled to Turkey and he never came back. And our third friend, I asked him why he did not answer me when I called him. And he told me honestly, he knows that you hate the people of his kind, and you always talk shit about them. And he didn't want to tell you because he was afraid that you would hate him if you know that he's you know. Yeah, he did tell me, and he fled to Turkey. Until now, I don't talk to him.
Can I just interject once again? I just want to say, this has nothing to do with religion. This has nothing. I don't co-sign this. Islam doesn't co-sign this.
No, Islam.
Right.
Look, it's a me problem. It's not the religion talk.
This is definitely you, because
this is personal. Yes.
Yeah, because when you said you would rather be with unalivers,
right? I do want
to. I'm really sorry, Faye. What happened to the live?
No, so the live got banned. I didn't end it. The live got banned, but I think we need to talk about this.
Reuven told me.
Yeah. So I think we need to talk about this though, because like I want to
tell you something before. Look, if you don't feel comfortable that I give my opinion on this subject, I'll just keep it to myself in your life. I'm totally cool with that.
It's not about that. It's not about just keeping it to yourself. I don't know if I feel comfortable even sharing the space with you
Look,
here
I told you, my
because of that. Like
political.
I've been enough. It doesn't sound more political. It sounds like you're against people having equal rights. It doesn't sound political at all.
Yeah,
because you said that if it was political,
what?
If it was political, you wouldn't have cut off your friend who fled to Turkey because he was afraid of telling you he was gay.
No, he didn't flee to Turkey because of me. He fled to Turkey because of his parents. But he didn't tell me that he's going.
But you wouldn't have an issue still being his friend if it was just political.
He cut the relation with me first.
But again, you brought that story up to prove a point, but also you said that you'd rather be friends with murderers than be friends with gay people. These are
more of a hypothetical thing.
I feel like you're backtracking a lot right now.
Yeah, look, I did the unaliving stuff myself. I did it. So I'm not better than anyone.
So do you think you're better? Like, I don't know the situation regarding the circumstances around you unaliving someone. No, so I don't know the circumstances. One second, I don't know the circumstances around you unaliving someone, but let's say it was the worst, where literally you went up to someone on the street and mugged them. Would you say you're a better person than someone who is gay?
No.
Why not?
He didn't hurt anyone. I did.
So now, so why would you rather hang out around with murderers than people who are gay?
Yeah, I said it as an, just hypothetical thing to view my, you know what I'm saying?
Not really. Like, I'd love more explanation, because I feel like at the beginning I got along with you, and then as soon as I started hearing these views, and I've been around enough hateful people in my life that I don't want to let someone who has these hateful, harmful views in my close circle anymore. I don't want to accept that anymore. So, which is why first I want to talk to you, but yeah, I don't know. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, it was more of me to give you the extremist view for me about this subject specifically. So, it's not I would rather hang out with the unalivers. No matter of fact, I'm one of them, so I don't know, So, The thing is, I don't accept it in my society, first of all. Second of all, I don't accept it to be part of the law. Third of all, it's a political thing, and that's the most important thing.
It doesn't.
Because the West,
If it was a political thing, like, why do you have an issue with people just having more rights? Nobody is forced. When you use the word forcing, they're forcing it on me type of language. It sounds like you're afraid of people forcing you to be in a gay relationship, forcing you to have sex with a man,
no, forcing
you
it on the society to be acceptable. That's what I'm against.
Why is that an issue? Why is that any different than alcohol, right? Because alcohol isn't allowed in the Quran. So
it's not accepted by the society.
But is it illegal? Will people get run out of the country? You advocated for exiling people out of the country who are gay.
No,
so will people?
The thing is,
Yeah, continue. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, the thing is, the exile thing was just about my son. He did ask me about what I do with my son. I will disown him, or I tell him to keep it to himself, and don't talk or act or practice it. Or if he does not want to, I'll tell him to.
So, okay. So, what if your son would drink alcohol? Would you tell him to not drink it in public, or if he did, you would kick him out of the country or try to exile him from the country?
No, it's not. Like, alcohol is less worse than this. Can you say that?
Why?
Why? It's in the religion, it's less. First.
No. We're not talking religion, because I want to make that clear to people who are watching. This isn't.
Yeah, it's not a religion
thing. This is a Muhammad thing.
Yeah.
Because other people from, like, again, I'll only bring up Zeno because the only other. Hey George, it's the only other Muslim who I've asked this directly to, but he said, like, if his son was gay, he wouldn't go to the wedding, which I've disagreed with, but he wouldn't go to the wedding, but he would completely still accept him in the family.
No, he's
but
not.
You're saying exactly. You wouldn't. So I would like to know why.
Why what?
Why is this such a big deal to you? Why do you hate gay people? Why wouldn't you accept your child? Why would you kick your child out if they were gay?
I won't accept him. Look, it did start with a lot of stuff back. Like, when I used to be younger, I used to hear a lot about it in the media, that they want to make all of the world accept it and they will change the laws. And the thing, it was moving very fast, that a lot of countries starting accepting it. And even back in that time, I don't believe it's a thing. I thought it's just some nonsense or a mental illness. And after that, the science came out that it's not a mental illness. And even after that, I decided that even if it's like something they say it's normal, you're not supposed to act it, even if you feel it. There's no problem with feeling it, but you're not supposed to do it.
Why?
No. Like, if someone lives in the United States, I have no problem with it. But if someone lives outside of our countries, like our society,
this is the thing. This is the thing. We've been talking for like a month or so. You've been on here multiple times. I'm outwardly queer. I've been in relationships with women. I'm outwardly queer. How are you comfortable talking to me and seeing me as a human? But other queer people, is it because I'm a woman? No. Is it like, or is it because it's over a phone? It's not in person? Like, what is it?
First of all, you're not trying to change anyone's opinion. Second of all, you're not pushing it on anyone. Third of all, you don't live in my society, so you're not going to affect my society.
Again, though, first of all, I am trying to change your opinion. This is what we're doing right now because
it's not going to work out. But anyway,
okay. Second of all, I'm pushing it on you as much as other people are pushing it on you. Nobody's forcing you to make out with a man. This whole pushing it on me thing, this whole pushing it on me language, I don't even know where it's coming from, because what do you mean by pushing it on me? The fact that there's other gay people around, like that's, you feel like they're pushing it on you? This sounds like the same logic that was used by white supremacists in the US when they didn't want to segregate. I could give
you the story. Yeah, I could give you the story.
Sure. Right? Give me the story.
Yeah, the Palestinian government, we get like funding from other countries, especially from the EU, from Europe. And the EU came to us and said, you have to make it legal for gay marriage, not for the relationship. And when the PA said no, they cut the funding. And the PA could not pay the salaries for the employees.
What does this have to do with you hating gay people?
First of all, I see a lot of people of my society, they're not getting their money at the end of the month, so they have a problem with spending on their families, just because other stronger countries, they want to change our morals, they want to change our law to be suitable for their thought thinking, for their propaganda, for their way of living. They want to change ours to give us money. So that's blackmailing.
Okay, so let's switch things around a little bit, okay? Let's look at towards the end of slavery. How about this? Even after slavery, before segregation was over, the argument that white supremacists used was, they're lesser than us. We don't want their ideas pushed onto us. It's wrong. That's why there are different drinking fountains for whites only and for blacks only. And they thought that by forcibly desegregating their schools, this is all these opinions getting pushed on them. And they were forced to do it. So you know how many people still in the South hate black people? Hate black people for pushing their ideas and their ideologies and just being allowed to exist around them. This is what you're sounding like. You hate gay people for just wanting to be able to exist around you.
To exist not around me only, in my society.
In society around you.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's not just about me. It's not just a me thing. We don't want them here.
No. Right. I'm talking
more
about
than 80% of the population.
No. Yeah, we're focusing on you because if I talk to a racist in the South, they'll also say we don't want them here. Switch everything and switch it to race.
No. Look, I'm pretty serious with you now. The Palestinian people, us. I'm pretty serious. And the numbers I'm giving you are serious numbers, not just hypotheticals. More than 80% of us, we don't accept their existence in our society.
More than 8%?
80%.
First of all, 80%. So do you not, so I'm not talking to the entire society. I'm talking to you right now. I want to know why you have such a huge issue with people having rights and freedoms and the ability to be who they are.
Yeah. Like,
why do you I'm not asking what other people's opinions are. You, Mohammed, why do you have that issue with other people being who they are? Why do you have a problem with people being free and being able to be themselves? They're not pushing it on you. They're not taking your head and another man's head and forcing you guys to make out. So why do you have an issue with gay people being allowed to be free around you?
It's against our culture, first. Second, it's against our religion. Third, it's against our society.
I didn't ask. Okay, so again, I think I'm asking you. I'm not asking why do Palestinians or why do Muslims?
Okay,
Because again, not all Muslims, not all Palestinians, not all everyone feels the exact same way as you do. So I don't think you should blame. Like again, if we take a racist from the deep south, they'll blame their upbringing, their environment, their culture, their society on why they're racist. Does that mean that person is not responsible? 1 second. Does that mean that person is not responsible for their own hateful beliefs and ideologies? You're responsible for your own hateful beliefs and ideologies. So I'm asking you, Mohammed, why do you have an issue with gay people being allowed to exist and be free and have rights around you?
We are a modest society, okay? I live in a modest society. I'm a modest person. I'm a modest Muslim, nationalist, socialist person, okay? And this kind of act comes to my society, breaks our modesty and morals that we've lived through hundreds of years. We live this way. We want to stay this way. We don't want this Western thoughts and Western, I don't know, how do you call liberalism and stuff like this to come to our society. That's why we don't like it. But as an individual, let's say, as an individual, I personally don't have any problem with them unless they don't if they don't I mean, like doing it in the streets. If they do it in their homes, I don't give a shit.
But you said you would kick your son out if your son chose to speak.
My son is a different circumstance. But about
why?
People. Because when I have an image, I live in a society. I care about my image in the society I live in. Okay? And my son doing this kind of acts break my image in the society. And breaks my reputation.
Do you think you
don't live here, so you don't know this stuff. Do you know what people will do to me if this happens?
Mohammed, do you think you're a good person?
Not always.
Okay. Because I'll be honest. I think people are responsible for their own hateful ideologies, their own hateful beliefs, and the stuff that they have in the world. When you're a child, yes, your environment affects you, but when you get to a certain age, you're responsible for your own life, your own beliefs, your own actions, everything like that.
And I want to be part of
it. You're trying to excuse your hateful ideology and this disgust and hate you have towards gay people on, well, in my society, we're modest. In my society, we're like this. You're not taking responsibility for it.
Yeah, look, I know that when you're reached a certain age, you should think a certain way, you should have your own thoughts, you should have your own stuff. Yeah, and I reached that certain age, and I choose to have
so you're consciously choosing to be hateful.
I choose to have the morals of the society. If my society accepts something, I will accept it. If my society do not accept it, I won't.
But okay, let's take a very simple thing, very superficial thing. You're a Muslim and you have a pet dog. You're not allowed to, according to the Quran.
But by the society, it's okay.
Why did you, 1 second, why did you find that acceptable, yet it's not acceptable for people to be gay?
No, I told you, it's a sin, yes. It's a
Why?
Sin. It's a sin.
If your society, though, your society doesn't allow for dogs in the house.
Yeah, it
doesn't allow you to have pet dogs. Why is that okay?
The society does
but again,
allow. Like, the society does allow you having a dog.
Oh, but your religion doesn't.
Do not. No, the religion does allow you to have a dog, but you can't enter it in the house.
Right, but you bring your dog into your house.
Yeah, if he's sick or something, yeah, I do.
Why? Why are you allowed to?
If he's sick, I'm not gonna let him die outside.
But it's not allowed. It's against the Quran.
I don't know. It's debatable.
So why is that sin okay? Because you connect
no, it's
to
not
it.
Okay. It's debatable.
You don't want your dog. One second.
Okay.
You don't want your dog to die. Your dog is sick. You want them in your house. I mean, hell, I have a dog. You see how many times I walk him. I get that. But suddenly, if your son was gay, you wouldn't allow them in your house, in your country. You wanted to exile him out of the fucking country. You don't care if you'd rather have a dead son than a happy gay son.
I would rather not having a son in the first place.
You'd rather not have a son than have a happy gay son?
Yes. I told you, it's a wall. You're not gonna climb it.
Okay, so I cannot have you on my platform anymore. I can't.
Okay.
Because I have been, as you know, I grew up in a cult. My mother would rather have a dead daughter than a happy daughter who's not Jewish. And it's disgusting, disturbing, and there's something mentally wrong with her for thinking that way. And that is disgusting and disturbing, and there are many things mentally wrong with you thinking in this way. It's not okay.
According to us,
and I hope that one day you first of all, I hope that no one around you is gay, because I hope that they never have to interact with this hatefulness. And I hope that you never have to be around it.
I hope that too. I hope that too.
Okay, I'm gonna drop you because I can't have this conversation anymore.
Okay, it was nice to talk to you all this time. Good.
Bye. It does suck. One second, I'm gonna let this next person up. It does suck because Mom on here for like over a month, and we've had many conversations, and I've been pushing off this conversation about this hate for so long because I'm not a confrontational person. I've been pushing off this conversation for so long, and I'm happy we had it, but it makes me very uncomfortable because I actually liked him and thought he was a good person. Hi, Sprout. How are you? Hello? Okay, I'm going to the next person then. Hello? No, going to the next person. Hey, Duragon, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm really sorry about that.
Thank you. Oh, it's good. It's good.
Man, I was really hoping to be able to, I don't know, my connection dropped and then the live ended and then you restarted. I was really hoping to just get that one question to ask him if he thinks that he has unconditional love for his son.
Right. Well, I got banned last time, but I don't think he does have unconditional love for his son because he would kick his son out of the country.
If
his son was gay.
We see that. Just this is all taught understanding. This is all taught behavior. And it's the level of interaction that you have with people that forces you to think this way or think differently. If you don't interact with people who are not like you, you don't have the ability to actually think outside of your
1 second.
your
let
bubble.
Me let more people up now. I'll finally. Sorry, I realize I'm done doing the one-on-one. So let me allow other people up.
I'm really so sorry about that. That really.
No, you're good. It's actually so. It's a lot of it is on me because honestly, I've been pushing off this conversation for about 2.5, 3 weeks. He had said some hateful stuff before, and I'm not a confrontational person at all. I'm not a confrontational person. So I've been pushing off this conversation for 2, 3 weeks, just not allowing him up here when I saw the requests and dropping out of lives when I saw him come up. But the conversation unfortunately needed to happen, and yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm like trying to get it off.
Okay,
Hey,
I'm glad.
hey,
Okay, so
George.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
So okay, so
Sure.
thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you for so much for because I'll be real with you. If you've been through the trauma that you have been through, Bazette, let me tell you something. The last time I was on your live, the people mass reported me. I was talking to some Muslims. I got mass reported. I got banned for
On
like
here?
2 weeks. Yeah, the last time
From?
I got banned, it was on your live, and
Oh, sure.
I got banned for like two. I got banned for two. I appealed it, and I got banned for like 2 weeks. And I wasn't even
I'm
saying
sorry.
anything crazy. And I wasn't even saying anything crazy. But I know how the Muslims get, and I know how I can be sometimes, and I know how assertive
Well,
I can get. I know how
sorry, I just
assertive.
want to stop you there
Yeah.
1 second before you continue. I just want to stop you. Try not to generalize, because this was Mohammed, a person I was talking to. This wasn't a representation of his religion, because Zeno,
Yeah.
who was on here before I got banned the first time, because I got banned and then I appealed it, I was maybe banned for about 10 minutes. But Zeno, who's also a Muslim, a religious Muslim, he has said multiple times that he would not cut off his kid if they were gay. So this is a Muhammad issue, not a Muslim issue.
Understood. Understood. And I kind of figured that, and I, because at the end of the day, people will talk about makrut, people will talk about haram, people will talk about there's so many different levels of, what is acceptable. Like, for example, tobacco in Islam. Tobacco is not really haram, it's really makrut. So it's one of those things where, but alcohol in turn is haram, right? And so the thing is that I know about so many. I'm good. Like I grew up in New York City. I don't know if the panel knows this. I grew up. The last time I was on your live, I don't want to get banned, Buzz. These people, they start to mass report me, and they get a sour puss in their mouth. So look, so I'm gonna keep it short and brief. And thank you for having that conversation with that individual. And yeah, he was definitely out of line. And I know he was coming from a place of he doesn't. You know what? You know what's so funny about that is that he doesn't even know why he has this hate towards these people because it's just something that he's been indoctrinated. Like not, I don't even want to say he's indoctrinated, but it's just one of those things that as a kid and growing up in the society that he grew up in, it's just frowned upon, you know. And he doesn't know why. He doesn't know why. I'll be honest with you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Go
and yeah, and that really disturbs me. And again, like the whole idea, and then I'll go to somebody else. But the whole idea about again kicking your child out, like I don't know how this didn't come up earlier, because again, I was kicked out. My mother would rather a dead daughter than a daughter who's not religious. So how he feels so comfortable saying I'd rather a dead son or no son than a gay son is just so disturbing and so that's why I've been like avoiding the conversation, but it had to happen. Sorry, yes, Abdullah, you can be next, and then we'll let Skirtis and D go. Abdullah, yeah.
Can you hear me well?
Yes.
I actually went on my other account because as far as I know, I'm banned on my first one. The one that up on the other.
This is Lauren. Okay.
Yeah, this is.
Hey, hon.
So I just wanted to address some issues, especially with what the brother. He has the right to his opinions, but everyone does. But I disagree with some things. I would not, first step. I would not disown my son if he was gay or she was gay or queer or anything like that. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. I mean, in all reality, so as a Muslim, it's a sin. So is drinking. So is not paying your taxes. So is magic and etc. There's a lot of sins out there, especially in the religion of Islam. If anyone doesn't know, it's got a lot of rules. I just want to go over a few things. Disowning. Okay, so there's a classical scholar called Zahabi, and the classical scholar Zahabi listed the sins in order from worst to greatest, and it's a huge list. But just to point out, disowning family members is number 9, and homosexuality is like number 11. So it's a higher sin to disown your family member than it is.
Homosexuality is still in the top 15, though. That's crazy to me.
11. Well, guess what? Here, listen to me out. Not praying is number 4. What
was the name? Just really quick, what was the name? I'm just going to look it up while you talk. What was the name of the person that came up with the list of sins?
I'll type it.
Okay, I just want to look it up while you talk.
He's typing it. You're typing it in the comments, you said? Oh, I don't know if that's what he said.
Yes, I'm going to type it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's typing it in the comments. But, yeah, first of all, he did make it clear that he didn't really care about the rules. I tried to make it clear this wasn't a religious thing. This wasn't a problem that I had with Muslims. This is the problem that I had with Muhammad. Yeah. Because that was a very hateful ideology.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's right because in all reality, so I don't want to get banned. So because it's a sin, the fact is that there was a great I don't know how to say this without getting banned. So there was a great sheikh who actually made recently in the past few years who made a metaphor, and he says a terrorist will go to a nightclub and do something terrible to the nightclub. I'm not going to say what, and do that type of an act at the nightclub. Now, a believer will go to the nightclub and stand out front and make friends with the people and talk with them about the religion and make an educational situation, set up a kiosk, etc. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help guide people. And you can't guide people if you're not around people. You can't guide people if you're not near them and being nice to them and kind to them and showing them good morality. So how can you disown a family member and then ever be that? You have to be there for your family, especially your son. You're a Muslim is responsible for their children. The sins of the children fall upon the parent also. So the reality is if you cut off that child, then you're not even attempting to be their friend. You're not attempting to be there and guide them. You're not attempting. You can still be a Muslim and be homosexual. In reality, you can. Now, is it a sin? Absolutely. But
right. So I honestly don't want to even go there. And I know I try not to get triggered during conversations at all because my own shit is my own shit. And, I try to not bring it into here. I think though, because we just had that conversation, talking about, somebody disowning somebody else because of their sexuality, and I was disowned because of my religion, and my mom doesn't even know about my sexuality because she literally mourned my death before I even figured out my sexuality. So I don't want to I don't want to talk about religious reasons why it is or isn't okay. Usually this platform is totally open for that. Right now, I don't think my brain is kind of just shutting out everything you're saying, if I'm being honest. Right now, I'm not in the place to even listen to what you're saying. And honestly, I like you as a person, and I want to be able to take in what you're saying to me. But right now, I'm not in that place. So, yeah, I don't want to bring it to religion right now, if that makes sense. Is that okay?
I will. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna probably take off. I'm actually on my way home. I stopped on the side of the road to talk to you. So I will head back home. I did want to make mention I have an adopted son, whom of which is atheist. I have a son who is, a daughter who is on limbo.
I'm sorry. Can I pose a question? Can I pose a question to you? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. Can I pose a question to you? Can you wake up tomorrow and can you wake up tomorrow and be attracted to men?
No, we can't do that. It doesn't work that way. Just
No,
finish,
Dorian,
because
please, Dorian, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that, Dorian. Abdullah, I'm asking you. Do you? No. Wait, because this is not towards you. Abdullah, do you think you can be attracted to men right now?
Do I think? I don't think so.
Can you be convinced? Listen to my question, Abdullah, and I might get banned for this question. Can you be convinced right now to be attracted to men? Right now?
No.
Can you switch the and be like Jason Momoa? I would do him right now. Can you do that? Can you do that right now? Can you do that? Right now, can you do that?
No, I don't think so.
No? You don't think you could do that?
No.
I might just for street cred.
Okay, Dorian, go ahead. Go ahead, Dorian. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Question.
No. So I don't know why he's George. What were you trying to get to? Why was that question asked?
I know why.
The only reason why I asked, because we were on the topic of sexuality, right? And this gentleman said that he has different diverses and different sort of ideologies about different things. I'm not judging the gentleman right here, right? I don't want to get banned, right? The same way he doesn't want to get banned, I don't want to get banned. So all I'm saying is that if you think that homosexuality is a choice, you are sadly mistaken. Hold on.
He never said it was a choice. He said it was a choice. 1 second. He said it was a sin, and he was trying to show why Muhammad was wrong from the side of Islam. Why disowning your kid for being gay is wrong from the Islamic point of view.
No, I'm not coming for him.
I would want to hear that usually all the time. Yeah. However, right now, I am currently not in a place where I want to hear anybody defending religion. Usually, I'm all for religious debates, but because of that conversation before, I don't want to have a fucking religious debate right now. I'm not in that position. I'm not in that headspace. So I asked him nicely not to, and he very nicely agreed, and I really respect him. As a person, he has been on here only once before, so I don't know him well. But when he was on, it was a very nice conversation. So I don't think he was coming from the side of being gay as a choice. I don't think he was coming from there.
Tex, let me do this, please. What can where?
I'm sorry.
Where would you want to?
I don't want to disrespect anyone. I don't want to get banned.
I just came up here to say something, but I'm going to get down.
Oh, D, sorry. Let D have the floor
first. D, where have you been? D, where have you been?
I just wanted to say something.
Yes, go ahead.
That's all, because I come from a situation where my husband unalived himself because of it, and I've been having a hard time today. I've had seizures, so I'm not really good talking. Valentine's Day was the day of his unalived death, so I've been really kind of struggling with that. And then I come into this room and I hear this shit, and it's terrible, and I am not coming for your religion. I don't want a religious debate, but it is so effing triggering for me to hear you talk about what number of sin it is. Because here's the thing. Even if you don't disown somebody, but you make them believe that who they are at the core, everything that they are at the core is inherently wrong. You let me finish. Let me finish.
No, let her finish. Let her finish. Let her finish. Let her finish.
So when you're taught that it's a sin, that there's that what you're doing, who you are, is an act against God or whoever, and I'm not going for just one particular religion, I'm saying it all. When you do that, what happens is that attacks that person's who they think they are at the core, and they will fight against it. I was in an arranged marriage to this man because he was gay. I was not even 16. He was 24. He fought with it so freaking hard. He He was an amazing person, but at the end of the day, he felt that whoever he was inside was inherently wrong because he knew it was, or he thought it was a sin, and he knew he could never be who he could be, and he felt that the only option that he had was to no longer be alive. So when I hear someone say that it's a sin, that it's an act against God, and inherently is wrong, who you are at the core is very troubling for me, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deirdre, I'm so very sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. I really need to step in and just say, like, can we text? Let's take the conversation to where you want to take this. Let's talk about the things that you want to focus on, or whatever you want to do. Because I don't think we need to be focusing on anything that you don't want to be focusing on right now.
That's fine, and that's what I said a minute ago. And I was saying my goodbye, and I actually got attacked by 2 different people. So you guys have
I'm giving you a perspective and making you understand, but I'm going to step down because, Darko, no offense, I love you, but that was extremely dismissive of what I had to say. So I'm just going to get down.
I'm not attacking anybody. I'm so sorry.
Right. So
D, like, God, like my heart hurts like so bad.
So. First of all, to Deirdre, if she's still there, I can't even fucking imagine what you're going through right now, and it's a lot. And obviously what I went through is much lower. I don't like comparing traumas and stuff, but what I went through, I feel like, is much lower than what you went through. And I was triggered to the point where I said, I don't want to have a conversation about religion. And I feel like it was dismissive, though, Durgan. Like, I feel like she poured her heart out. She was vulnerable. And then it was just like, okay, let's take the conversation in the direction you want to take the conversation in. When she just said something that, like, as a human, I think if you don't feel empathy, if you don't understand or feel what was trying to be communicated, I think that's a big issue. Yeah, Skirticus.
Faye, just quickly, I know Dargon. I don't think he was trying to be dismissive. If that's the way it came across, it's heartbreaking. But I think he wanted to pull back away from a painful conversation to refocus. I don't think I really I think his heart was in the right place. I think it was just in the context or his words he chose. I think he just misspoke. I'm being as charitable as I can, and I love Deirdre, and she knows I do, and I don't honestly think he was trying to hurt her.
Okay, well, okay, that's understandable. I think though, people don't. This whole topic is a very heavy topic, much heavier than we usually try to get into. But I think we need to understand how much this affects people and why we need to talk about these hateful stuff, because it affects people in their day-to-day lives. And again, what's coming back to me is the whole, I'd rather have a dead son or not have a son than to have a gay son part. And then hearing the fact that her husband unalived himself, and yesterday was the anniversary of that, because he was in a religion that didn't accept gay people. It just, I don't know. It's
horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. It just, if it doesn't crush their heart and their absolute soul to pulp, then I don't think they're actually a human. I think those sorts of stories, and I'm not going to pick on one religion or another, but when I was a teenager, this young girl, 14 years old, very, very devout of a certain faith. And you never saw her at parties. You never saw her at social events, these types of things. And she was allowed to spend the night at a friend's who was not of her faith. And she showed up at a house party, and they stood in the corner, basically. They didn't they didn't do anything, right? They just listened to music and listened to conversation. They were there an hour, and then they left. And then the following Monday, I heard that her family had disavowed her, or whatever word you want to use. It kicked her out of the house at 14 years of age, and thankfully she had an aunt who had also been excommunicated that she go to live with. But their belief clouded or corrupted the love for their child. And as a father of 4, I just could not imagine ever doing that to my child, no matter what my convictions were. And it's to me, that would be the biggest crime against my family, or sin, if you want to use that word. And I don't like to use that word, but that would be the biggest sin I think I could ever perpetrate, would be to deny my child my love and my support and my shelter and my. It breaks my heart to hear people say that they would disenfranchise or excommunicate their child or separate their child from their life for whatever belief. I don't care what you believe.
Yeah.
That to me just breaks my heart.
Right, and I do want to make it clear the fact that it wasn't. This isn't an attack on his religious belief, because other people from his religion have often said multiple times, I will not cut out my child, even if I think it's a sin. You know, the whole idea of thinking it's a sin, that is a separate issue for me. But if your religion says it, fine, you think it's a sin. But cutting off your child, and again saying you'd rather have a dead child than a gay child, it just, how can you call yourself a parent? How can you say you care for someone and then they don't actually care about them? They just care about their own image. They're narcissists. They need their child to be a reflection of themselves, and they don't care about their child. This is the way I view it. I'm gonna let Reuven and Jay speak because they just came up, and then we'll go around again. But yeah, Reuven or Jay.
Well, you know my view on this whole thing, right? I first of all, I never cut anybody off, and second, it's not my place to even question what people want to do. As long as people doing things in their own way and they're happy, they're not hurting anybody, then it's their own. Who am I to speak on this, right? How am I involved in somebody else's life? That's not my place.
Right, and then again, before Jay just goes, like, I don't know why, just like the whole also rather hang out with unalivers, and I'll just say murderers. Fuck if I get mad.
Yeah, but
I'd rather hang out with murderers than hang out with gay people.
I don't know where he's coming from with all this stuff, but to me, and you know that I'm a devoutly religious person, right? But if it came to this kind of position where, like, if the religion told me that I have to cut my family member because of this or this, I'm not gonna do that. I'll take it up with God when I'm dead. I'd rather violate that rule than that's not my place to do it.
Yeah.
Some things to me are beyond sacred, and my children, are beyond. The minute I saw that little face, I knew I'd lay down my life right there, without question. Everything inside of me just repulses, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like I can't just imagine. Then Jay, I'll let you go. I know I keep interrupting, but like I just can't imagine saying out loud, a parent saying out loud, I'd rather a dead child than a gay child. And like, he's a parent, and like, I'm not even a parent, but like, to say that out loud, I don't know. It just, okay. Sorry, it's bringing me back to places, but Jay.
I can't even imagine even saying something like that. I went through a lot of issues in that way with my daughter almost dying when she was 12. So I can't imagine somebody saying something like that. That's just, how can you be a parent and think like that?
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. I have to take a call. I'm really sorry. Faye, thanks so much. I'll pop back in. Thanks. And much love and health to everybody. And I'll see all of you later.
Thank you, hon. I'll see you. Hey, Jay. It's great to see you again. I'm glad you have some time.
Hey, first of all, I got one more reason to be pissed at Ruben. That's the first time I've seen his magnificent beard. And so now that's just one more reason I'm, angry with him. I mean, God damn it. Anyway, yeah, you want to show it off
Here you
more.
go. You can be jealous.
Yeah. But, and then I think Ray, I don't know if you've watched the comments, but I think Ray has been kind of flirting with me lately a little bit. And I'm just kind of keep an eye on that.
Yeah, 1 second, sorry. Just hold up. Sorry, I just need to address in the comments. Shay, I'm not bringing you up unless you change your name. That is a disgusting, disturbing name. And I'm not bringing you up. Sorry, Jay. Continue. Yeah.
Yeah, but first of all, let's talk about the success in this conversation that's been going on for the last hour. So the successful thing that happened was you know your own worth, you set your own boundaries, and coming from your background, that's extremely important. And so to take, there's other growth in life that just always happens. You're going to keep going through life like the rest of us and tweak out things and maybe handle things differently in the future, as we all should. But being that aside, recognizing who you are as a person, recognizing your worth, and recognizing what boundaries you're willing to not deal with at this time is a success on your part. So that's, even if it changes later in life.
Can I just say thank you? I think that's the first time, though, in life that I've ever set a boundary. But I think what's helping me is the fact that it's public. So, like, other people have asked me to have one-on-one debates with them, and I said no, because I think the fact that it's public allows me to stand up for myself and not be terrified. Yeah, because usually I would bring someone like Shay up because they're saying these stupid things. But, yeah.
But you don't have to. Do
you want me to drop? I can drop. You can bring.
No, Shay is not coming up because that's a disgusting slur. No,
Shay, I guarantee you that I'm way more conservative than you got me up here.
No, Bazet, I know you like to bring people that have like a different ideology.
Oh, usually. I think we had enough of that tonight. I need to be surrounded by people I love. I think we had enough of that tonight.
No, just to clarify,
I'll see you later.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta go. I'll come back.
Jay. I'm so sorry. Please come back.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm probably as conservative as you're gonna find, like as far on the right as you can get. So, and Faye doesn't have any problems with hanging out with me, so it's nothing to do with politics.
No, it's got nothing to do with politics. It's got to do with oh shoot, I didn't see Ray's request. Okay, I'll add him up. It had nothing.
That's okay, because I'm not going to stay that long. I wanted to explain why I didn't come in when you told me you were going to go live, and so as I told you, I have a child who is in the LGBTQI plus community. And I am a mother who has lost a child as well. So to have anyone say those things for me was really, really difficult to even hear, because I could tell it was being said without consideration, or anyone who, if you have never been through it, like, you have no idea what it's like. And so that was just like, I don't think anybody knows what it's. No one knows how you're going to come out the other side of that. So it was just, and I had one of my oldest, we almost lost my oldest because of the actions of other people who did not like their identity. And to see your child suffer so much, and to listen to people basically say that a child deserves to suffer because of how they were born. I'm not sure how to say it. So also, George, you are a handsome dude. This is the first time I've seen your face.
This is also the first time I've seen him. I was going to say something, not the correct time, but I was going to say something. Yeah. Although, as a New Yorker, I think, though, I do recognize you. Side note, I think I recognize you. Okay, if you were around Atlantic Avenue, by the Barclays Center a few weeks ago, I think we might have passed each other. No. But totally random. But what's it called again? Just Kristen. What was I saying? My heart breaks in so many ways. Like I can't imagine. I don't even know if there's anything
it's a hard thing. No, it's a hard conversation. That's why, even though you told me you were going live, I didn't come back. It's because I knew I couldn't have that conversation. And so but at the same time, like, I don't think people who have never experienced the fear of losing someone you love with every part of you because other people hate who they are, and you haven't, like, there's no way to make someone understand what that feels like, how it rips an entire family. It destabilizes everything, because because everyone has to kind of close ranks to try and get through it. And so that's in the amount of children who are part of that community who are successful where my child failed. Like, it is not a small number.
Yeah, no, a large amount is. And like the fact again that he outwardly, proudly, with his chest said, I'd rather a dead child than a gay child.
And the whole, unaliving, I'd rather be with someone, saying that he has friends who have unalived and he's fine with that. Like,
he's unalived people, so I didn't ask the circumstances around it because I didn't want to change the conversation. I wanted it to stay focused on the whole homophobic issue.
I'm sorry, I reported him, and that may have been why your whole thing shut off.
Oh, before you did it? No, it's okay.
Yeah, because I just was so pissed. I was listening to him, and I was just getting so mad that I reported him, and then the whole live shut off, and I'm like, no.
you were the Tommy that censored the whole thing.
You are the one. No, it's fine. As soon as I appealed it, I got a decision back like within 30 seconds saying I could go live again, which is why I did. So it's totally fine. But no, I am actually happy the conversation happened because I have been avoiding it for so long. Literally just not ignoring his requests to come up and stuff like that. And like not going into Ray's live when he was there and just like things like that. So I'm happy the conversation happened, but yeah. Anyway.
Hopefully one day he'll wake up, hopefully one day he'll wake up and he'll realize the harm that comes from that mindset. I mean, I have hope.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember where he lives, right? Unfortunately, this is a culture in that place.
I know.
Just recently, there was a situation where somebody from the West Bank who was, he basically escaped and got asylum in Israel because of being LGBT. And then his family went and snuck in across the border, kidnapped him, brought him back into the territories and unalived him there.
That's so, sad isn't even the word. You know what I mean? Like, messed up, fucked up, like, disgusting, disturbing, everything else I can think of.
It's culture. It's not religion, it's culture.
But at a certain age, you're fucking responsible for yourself. You're responsible
I'm not
for your own...
it. Yeah, every individual is responsible for themselves. I agree with you 100%.
Oh, and it was so triggering to hear him say that, oh, fuck, I literally just forgot, my bad. Continue.
Yeah, but at a certain age, you're responsible for yourself. You can't. You have to stop. Like that's what he kept doing. He kept trying to bring it back to culture, trying to bring it back to religion, trying to bring it back to this. That's not what it was. At a certain age, you're responsible for your own goddamn hateful beliefs.
And just sorry, one thing. Spartacus is saying religion informs culture. Just so you're aware, Soviet Union, Cuba, and many other communist countries were jailing all the LGBT communities all the way until fall of Soviet Union. Being LGBT meant 8-year sentence. You actually got a lesser sentence for unaliving somebody than for engaging in LGBT activity. So it has nothing to do with religion.
Wait, but again, there were many other issues with the communist parties. But
this was strictly against the law, because it was called the bourgeoisie behavior.
But again, that was okay. Well, you know what? That's a whole separate conversation, which we can get into.
When he said, yeah, I just remembered when he was saying that it's his reputation. Oh my god, I grew up hearing that fucking excuse so many times of like, oh, you can't wear this, you can't do that, my reputation, our reputation. Like, if that is like the worst excuse for being a horrible person I've ever heard. Like,
and also, it just like his narcissism peeped out a little bit there, came out to say hi. Like, if your child does something, and all you're worried about is your reputation, and you'd rather have them dead than ruin your reputation, that's a fucking issue.
And it's a huge issue that so many parents have. Like, I don't know why reputation is such a big deal to so many people, but like, who gives a shit? I would rather my reputation be like, oh, her kid is gay. Like, what's wrong with that reputation? Right. If you have a problem.
It's because many parents, especially many parents of certain cultures and generations, believe that the child is an extension of themselves. And so if the child is not like they are, and they could not themselves imagine doing something or being a certain way, they cannot accept it because they wouldn't accept it for themselves, and their child is an extension of who they are. As opposed to their child as a person in their own right, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, then why are you trying to kill yourself? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you telling yourself to go leave home? Like, you can't
I don't have an explanation.
That's why I'm saying, like, they tell themselves that, like, yeah, this person is me or whatever, and I can't handle that they're like not doing what I want or something. But at the end of the day, they are lacking love, because if you view someone as a part of yourself, you would love and cherish it. You would not try to tell it to leave. Like, you're not, you know, they're not committing suicide, so why are they not, you know, like, why would they want something like that to happen to their child? It's pure narcissism. It's pure wanting to control other people. And wanting like sheep to follow you, basically.
Right.
Sorry, can I say something? Because it's really pissing me off right now. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, but also
really
there are
pissing
3
me
different
off.
requests, so I'm gonna ask for 3 people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop so I can go to bed.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Thank you for coming up.
You know, as somebody who grew up in Soviet Union and whose family suffered significantly from the communists in Soviet Union, this is beyond pissing off when people start saying, oh, the communists in Soviet Union were not true communists. It wasn't real communism. You know what? Accept it. This was communism. This is how communism functions everywhere. China, Pol Pot, Cuba, Soviet Union. This is communist. It's like saying that Germany were not true Nazis, you know? That's how they function. If you find a different one that functions differently because you're a magical person who can make magical communism that's all flowers and rainbows, go ahead and make one. But so far, every place that made communist became a place where people died by millions.
Is now really the time?
Right, that's so Ruben, we can get into that discussion a different time.
It was just, it pissed me off. I'm sorry, because I brought it up.
And I get that. Like, we all have our triggers and stuff like that, and it's understandable. Like, you literally grew up in it, so you do have, like, that's completely understandable that it would upset you. But what's it called again? I do want to get into it at a different time because, like, it's a nuanced conversation, which I think we could get into.
Really. It's straightforward. But my point was, I said it because I was bringing up that LGBT was prosecuted in a non-religious country, and he instantly turned it into, no, this has to be religion-only thing.
Right. So, yeah. So, right now, though, right. But right now, as I told Lauren, like, I want to stay away from the whole religious thing because, like, I'm not in the fucking headspace to deal with religious debate right now. Like, the homophobia was enough triggers. I don't want to do religion right now. Like, that's not.
Even looking at it. I mean, I stopped him from coming up on a live earlier, and it wasn't because I had a feeling. It's just that I've just felt of late that he just wants to come up for the sake of coming up, even if the topic isn't relevant to him. And I don't like doing that. It makes me feel uncomfortable because, you know, I like to have everyone come up on the live. But I think maybe Kristen and I, and maybe I'm sure Dee or something, we're actually talking about something that was specific to the specific topic, and then it was like automatically request, and I said, I'm sorry, you know, I think I was ending the live as well, but I came back on, and I said that I just didn't want him coming up. But he's banned from all my future lives anyway, and that's the way it's going to be, because I felt uncomfortable today. And it's not even a religious thing, it's not even from the political point. The fact that there's so many Palestinians who are struggling, LGBTQ plus, then Israel is actually giving them asylum. And Reuven mentioned the one example of he had been kidnapped and been taken back over the border. But Israel is opening the borders for them and letting them through because they cannot survive there because the things, and that's what we're facing. But I think it also for Muhammad as well, not defending him anymore, is that I don't think it is. I think it goes deeper than politics. I think the fact, and I kept saying in the comments, what he was saying wasn't really adding up, and I think he's in fact repulsed by the actual act, but he wasn't going to admit it. I definitely think that that's what his main problem is, that he doesn't see the act as natural, and that's driving what his bias towards the issue was.
Yeah, it is personal for him, 100% personal for him. He just keeps saying it's political or something else, but it's personal.
But it wasn't political. It goes beyond that, much deeper.
Can I ask you guys?
And on top of that, the whole thing, yeah, I don't know. Like, it was a lot of hate, and it was just disgusting to me.
I'm glad we had the discussion, though, Faye.
Sorry, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because I've been pushing off this discussion since. So before my podcast, I kind of wanted to have a discussion with him that was more on misogynism and stuff like that, which he was saying some hateful stuff towards women in general. But the homophobic discussion, but I was still allowing him up. I was beating around the topic, and then as soon as in your live, I heard him have that conversation with the person who has Bloody Mary as the screen name.
Remember that? Yeah.
And I heard that conversation, and I realized I didn't feel like comfortable having him up here. But I don't think I would have discussed it unless Zeno brought up, "Oh, Faye, didn't you have something to talk about with Muhammad?" And I was like, "Oh, shoot,
Faye,
we gotta have this conversation now."
Faye, do you know what it was though? And I felt bad, and that's why I came up earlier to say that I was sorry, because it was I think in the end it was the right thing to do. It was good timing. Is that we had to pull off the Band-Aid. And I had mentioned it because we got into the discussion of She Messiah, and I said, and that's what triggered him, because I said She Messiah actually allows everyone, including all LGBTQ plus and everyone, to go up to heaven, and that's how the discussion started. And I felt bad, but I think in the end it had to be talked about.
No, I think I poked him also because I started asking him what his problem with the rainbow was.
Oh, right, yeah.
So can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, I've been up for a second and just haven't spoken yet. So, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, of course we can.
Yeah, so I kind of came in after, like, the fact, but it was, like, right after. And there was just this palpable feeling that I could just immediately sense. And when everybody came on the camera, I could just feel the empathy that people had. And I just want to say, Faye, like, I know this is a really painful subject for you, and I also know for Deirdre, it's a really painful subject. And it's a really painful subject for me, personally.
Yeah.
I have a close family member who is gay, and I myself am queer, and we grew up in the Mormon Church, and I'm not going to get into a big discussion about religion, but I will say that Utah has one of the highest rates of youth unaliving, and it's predominantly LGBTQ youth. This subject runs very close to home for me for several reasons, as I've said. And I just want to say, like, to anybody who's listening, that things can get better if you are in a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just want to extend love to anybody who's hurting. I mean, it was a pretty heinous thing that went on tonight, and I just wish I could take people's pain away. But
Court.
Court,
I'm gonna, whatever my lives and whenever you come on any of my lives is going to be a safe space, because he's blocked. He's not coming up in my case, and I know Faye's the same.
Yeah. Well,
I
know I probably sound really emotional, and that's because I am.
You are.
But more than anything, I wanted to come up here to show solidarity and support, because I know how important that can be and how important visibility can be. So, yeah.
Court, first of all, I think this entire time I was pushing it into anger and not allowing myself to get emotional. I was just, the only emotion I was showing was anger. And I'm trying to do that because I don't like being emotional in front of people. But.
And I'm not trying to trigger anything.
First of all. No, you're good. So first of all, thank you for coming up in here, because I think you're right. I think after that conversation, we kind of got distracted by a few things, but I think you helped bring us back to the main issue. This is a problem where many people don't feel safe to be who they are and to be, and their parents proudly, just like he did, very proudly will say, I'd rather a dead child than a happy gay child. And again, this doesn't only go towards queer people. This goes towards people who grew up like us in like ultra religious groups. Like, my mom doesn't even know I'm queer. She will probably never know I'm queer because she mourned my death when I decided to not be religious anymore. So that was never an issue with that. But I think, and thank you for like bringing me kind of back to the people listening, because we do sometimes get people, and I get messages after from people who have been listening and they don't come up here, they don't comment, but they listen and then message me after, and they're in these situations where they fear being themselves because they're going to get cut off by family. And I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it. It sucks. It might happen and it sucks. But there are other communities and people and other places that you could feel safe. Like pretty much, I built a family on here. A lot of, over the past, what was it, 3-4 months, I actually created a nice support system on here. One that I feel comfortable with. I've been vulnerable with you guys in so many ways, and if you're in that situation, there are people who you can trust and are people who will be there for you. And I really wish I had that pamphlet done. I'm in the middle of creating a pamphlet which can hopefully help you if you're in that situation. But if you are, I just want to put it out there. Feel free to message me. I don't have to be following you back in order, like TikTok did update, where I don't have to be following you back in order to message you back. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Like, I hope I'm coming across as a safe person. If I'm not the person to talk to, I'll probably point you in the right resources, but I'll hopefully be able to find you the right resources. But I just want people to know that this is a safe space, and that kind of hate is never okay at all.
Well, and I just want to say, like, I'm really proud of you, Faye, and I think this is such a good example to people that living authentically, you can find a place where you belong, and you can find people to call family, and you can be yourself. And I will tell you personally that I try, and I fail, but I try to be a good man. And anyone who can't see that because of my identity, I just don't need that. I just, their viewpoint is not one that is legitimate. And I know that, like, I'm not trying to, like, force the discussion to continue on. Mostly I just wanted to come on here and express love and solidarity. And I've been pretty private about my own stuff, but it felt important. And yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. First of all, I know that, like, that means a lot to say it in such a public space, and I wasn't going to say anything, but I am proud of you. And thank you for, like, being vulnerable and trusting us. Yeah, it sucks that it kind of took a hateful thing to bring us to this vulnerable place, but yeah, the conversation needed to happen, but I hate that it happened. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's, yeah. I don't know.
And I try very, very hard to be fair-minded. And I mean, even earlier today, like Ray was there with me. You can, and Reuben was there as well. I'm an atheist, but I actually consider myself pro-religion in a way because I can see the value that religion can have, and it can have for people in their lives. And it can also cause harm when it is used in the wrong way.
Yeah. And like, it definitely can. And I just, where is it? Like, just now as you were talking, I opened up. So a while ago, I read a letter that I had written to my mom after she mourned my death. And there's one sentence which I'm
So I'm sorry to cut you off. So I gotta ask a question. I'm sorry to cut you off. I am very familiar with the Hassidic culture, so I gotta understand. Like, when your mother tell you she is mourning you, like, what is that? Like, in the Hasidic community, what does that consist of?
So it's not
as a person that grew up close to Ocean Parkway. What is going on?
Oh, Chabadniks. You grew up next to Chabad. They're not Hasidic. Chabad is not Hasidic.
No. I know people that grew up around that in Borough Park and all that. I told you I know people from all over.
Yeah. So, okay, it's not a Hasidic thing. This is something that's not supposed to be done, but my mom wanted to do it, and she found a rabbi that gave her permission to do it. So basically, she sat Shiva for 3 days. So when somebody dies, you sit Shiva for 7 days, which is tearing your clothes. You cover all the mirrors in your house. You have people come over, pay their respects. You don't shower with hot water. You don't really leave your, like, there's a whole bunch of things you're not supposed to do. You sit on, like, really short chairs. And so she did that for 3 days. Instead of 7 days, because I'm still alive, so she did it for 3 days. It was like an old tradition that is not supposed to be done anymore, but she found a rabbi who let her do it. So yeah, that was her more than Hasidic.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Yeah. But the one thing though I do want to read from that letter that I wrote her, which is just like coming out at me now, and like to realize what I was trying to, she had already mourned my death, but like I was still of the fact like, oh, it's fine, I'm still her daughter and stuff. Like one of the last sentences is, please accept me for who I am and don't be ashamed of me. I love you, you're my mother, and I want you in my life. And like, to think of that, I'm not even a parent, but to try to think of that from a parent's perspective, read that and go like, nah, I'd rather she's dead. It just, I don't know, it's messing me up, I think. It's putting me in a weird place to, yeah. To realize like that she read that letter and then she thought, nah, it's better to have a dead child. Like,
we're here for you.
Well, that's that. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's going to mess you up, Faye. Of course, it's going to have an effect on you. I mean, I know what you've been through, and the whole. I understand the whole concept as well, and Reuven does as well, of what that actually means. I mean, it's okay to explain it, but just the whole concept in itself is just.
Can you guys
it's disgusting.
Can you hear me?
Let me ask you something. Do you still verbally communicate or no?
With my mom? No.
No. How long has it been?
It actually has been not that long. Maybe a year or so, I want to say. Slightly over a year, because I have a younger sister. I was writing letters to her.
What is your father?
What?
Your father, what does he tell you?
We can get a shovel and find out.
Oh God!
No,
sorry,
don't play
That's
around
dark
with me.
humor, very dark humor.
Nah, come on, I'm being serious.
No, I'm serious. He's dead.
Nah,
what?
for real. What does he tell you? Come on.
He's dead. I don't know. We can get a shovel and find out.
Got you.
George didn't understand.
Are you guys able to hear me right now?
I'm like, what? Like, spiritually? Like, is he dead spiritually? Like,
no.
This thing in the
He's dead under the ground.
You can only
we gotta
with your
dig it
father
up.
if you bring a shovel.
Okay. Understood.
Oh no. He's like, let me draw. Oh, was he trying to talk? But my parents are on my dining room shelf.
Anybody who wants to talk, go ahead. I can mute. Yeah.
Oh, 1 second. Skirticus is in. Oh, sorry, Dargon. Skirticus is in there. But,
Faye, I love that. I love that. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just, look, your candor, your just, that is just beautiful. I love that. I'm here for you. I'm here for you, Queen.
I can drop as well.
Oh, okay. I'll see you, Court. Love you. Thank you for coming up.
I'm going to drop too because it's 3 in the morning here.
Oh, shit. Go to sleep, my love.
So,
Faye, you have people waiting in the lobby or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I have a couple of people waiting.
Yeah, I can. I've communicated what I came to communicate.
You're amazing, Court. Thank you so much.
And like, well, we can talk privately.
Court, I'm sending you big hugs. I hope you feel them from my humanity to yours, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.
Court,
we actually have to talk though. Although I am going to do a sub-only live, I think tomorrow or maybe Thursdays, because Thursdays I have therapy. So I'm thinking that I'm going to start to do a sub-only live on Thursdays so I could be more vulnerable. That's tomorrow. On Thursdays I could be more vulnerable because you know how like I don't. There are certain things I don't say publicly. So. Oh, good night, Ray.
Are you guys?
Yeah. All right, I'll drop down, but I'll be in the comments for a while.
Okay, love you, huh?
Love you, Ray. Thanks for your support as well.
And, have a great.
Have a great night. So, take care, brother.
Take care.
So, I'm gonna drop also. I'm gonna go to bed, but I was just gonna say that from what you were sharing, one thing I learned also it might be hard to hear like this, but some people you just have to cut forever. Even if they're your family. It's painful in the beginning, but it's healing in the long term.
What do you mean by that? 1 second. Dargon, we can hear you. But Ruben, what do you mean by
I'm talking about how you're like, you're trying to fix relationship with your mother, but maybe it's not possible to fix.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not possible to fix it. I'm not trying to fix it anymore. No, the only reason why I didn't have contact with her over a year ago was because of my younger sister. With her, I'm trying to do everything, but with my mother, it's not possible.
And that's what I mean. Maybe then, if you know and you already accepted that it's not possible, then it might be healing to kind of like accept it, kind of do what she did to you.
Oh, I know. So that's again something I'll talk about on Thursday more than talking about it like in such a public space. But I'm working on it. It's hard I see things in black and white. It's very hard for me to work in the gray area. So for me, I don't see the bad things that she did. I see the mother I grew up with. I see them as two separate people. I kind of like divided my life into a before and after. And I see them as two completely separate people, one evil and one amazing mother. And I have to figure out how to merge the two and see it as one person and then process it and try to mourn. But yeah, that's something my therapist has been saying, and I'm like, I'm not there yet. But yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said it might be harsh of me saying it, and it's actually in opposition of what my religion says. But I think from personal perspective, it might be a better option for you to heal.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk obviously later. But no, my therapist definitely agrees with you. I'm not there yet, but hopefully I'll get there.
Hey, may I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Reuven, I think we maybe got off on a misunderstanding where, and I hope I cleared it up in the comments where I was not diminishing
We'll
your
just
experience.
talk about a different time.
Okay, cheers.
We'll talk about, we'll definitely talk about it. Yeah, I don't want to get into it tonight, but we'll definitely talk about it another time. Rovane is pretty much here every day, and then Scriticus, you started coming in a lot more recently, so we'll definitely talk about it.
I followed you, okay, Reuven, so anytime you want to chat or whatever, I'm down.
Ruvane's my husband in waiting. Love you, Reuven. Enjoy. Have a great night.
Already. He's gonna be my second wife.
I just wanted to say, I was hearing you about the grieving, and I was just sharing that, like, my parents essentially grieved my death, but it's different. Like they will consider me basically like dead, because to not give me much thought. When I leave, so that they are not influenced by my decision, and so that they don't communicate with me, basically, because they believe if they are to communicate with me, that's part of the reason the shunning is that me being in the English world could directly affect and influence them. And then giving me too much thought when I leave directly affects and influences them. So they basically, like when you're shunned and when that happens, they basically consider you to be dead, so they don't give you too much thought.
I'm heartbroken. Yeah. Shunning and excommunication, these types of actions seem to be the most horrific. The most horrific.
Bitter at my I was really bitter, but it's just like they don't. I mean, it's like they don't know any better. Like they, like you're born in these communities and they really think, I mean, my parents really think that if they talk to me and they have a relationship to me because I'm in the English world, that they think that they're going to be influenced. They think that there's going to be some sort of demonic spiritual influence by talking to me. They really believe that.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like, I don't know, like I'm not even a parent, and I'm not like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know, just reading that line and like thinking about 19-year-old me writing this, saying like, please accept me for who I am. Please don't be ashamed of you. I love you. You're my mother and I want you in my life. And then to read that and go, no. And like, I just can't imagine what kind of person, and like in your case where they're shunning you and like thinking that they're gonna whatever, get a thing with demonics, or it just, it's so messed up. And yeah, I don't know. Like I can't imagine.
It took me a long time to get to that place to see their perspective, because I have kids and I left for my kids. That was I mean, there's other reasons, but the main reason is I knew that my children could not live that life anymore, that I would do them harm. I could not allow that. Their father passed away essentially because of it. Like I knew for their sake. So it's hard for my parents to accept that my parents chose the community over me, because I left and I chose my children over the community. So that was a hard struggle for me for a little bit to understand that.
Yeah, and I am, again, just like thinking about your story, literally walking to the fucking payphone and then living out of the van, and like what you did, I couldn't have done that shit. Had I gotten married and had kids in the community, I wouldn't have left. I would
not
know that
have left. Because I love my kids so much, and I saw their father, and I knew that, like, the consequences and like how I grew up and like what happened to me and all the things. I did that for my kids. Like a lot of people will be like, you're so strong, but that's not about strength. It's about love, and it's about love of my children. And I chose my children over religion. That's what that's about. That's what I was able to do it. Simple as that. It had to do with love.
I think it says a lot about you as a person, because I know so many people who don't leave because they don't have the strength, and like the fact that you slept in a van with your kids, literally walked with your fucking couch baby stroller, like
I just can't.
I'm just happy that you're in my life. I'm happy that I got to know someone like you.
People like you that have come from communities, like I've said to you before, like it's really hard because when I talk about this, there's a disconnect. People don't understand. I don't feel like I relate to people a lot because, you know, I've been separated so much from the English world. So when I meet someone like you, there's a connection and an understanding that you have of me and I have of you that I don't have with a lot of people. And I really value that because you get it. You understand.
Yeah. Me too. I'm just really appreciative that I met you. Like, I told my sister, I'm like, there's so many times that I started and stopped this whole damn TikTok thing because every time I started getting followers, I'm like terrified this is going to affect my sister's marriage proposals. So I was terrified whenever it started climbing up. I was like, no, I'm stopping it. And then, like, after I met you guys, I was like, you know what? A third time's a charm because it's the third time I tried it, like, again. And I'm so happy that I met you guys because I don't think I would have kept going. Like, yeah, I was also in a very dark place where, like, I had made the decision because, okay, this is stuff I usually say for the subscribers only, but you know what? It's late.